Welcome to 25 years of JET. In this video, we're going to look back at what we've achieved over the last 25 years through JET's reincarnations and flexibility and the contribution JET has made. What has been consistent over these 25 years is JET's commitment to transformation through knowledge. JET is not alone on this journey. We worked with many partners over the years, government departments, international funders and local funders. And we hope we can see that return on investment has become clear over the 25 years of JET's existence.
It's actually quite a privilege to have been associated with JET. Before my time as a board member, as well as my 10 years on the board, I think that JET is a significant organization in South Africa, and we tend to undervalue JET's role and JET's place and the contribution that JET has made in the past and continues to make. JET is the type of organization that attracts people who have a common sense of purpose, very clear sense of what JET is about, that it's about mission, it's about service, it's about contribution, it's about collaboration, it's about quality.
JET is seen as a trusted partner for government, and that we've been witness to as well. I think the JET has served as a provider of research and M&E services, and even if JET puts out a report, it's seen as a trusted piece of work from government.
We have lots of policymakers who do more sociological kind of analysis, but JET has been a forerunner on quantitative analysis, and I think this has set JET much apart from lots of NGOs. And not only is it operating like an NGO, but as a research think tank to come up sometimes with ideas that are not yet popular in government or in society. They were able to research, do the analysis using quantitative data, and then show where we should be going.
On the M&E, I really think over the years, JET stands out as being one of the key proponents of M&E, and us being evidence-based about the work we've done. I mean, I've seen JET grow more and more into providing implementation support, and that's changed over the years, where perhaps at the beginning it was much more research M&E, and now it's grown into providing all three services in a fully fledged way, from research, M&E and implementation.
An important initiative within JET is trying to upskill the youth of our country to reach their full potential. Tell us a little bit more about JET's strategic objective in terms of that.
JET's work in the area of post-school education and training, particularly TVET colleges, but more importantly, our work in support of strengthening the quality of our schooling system is quite critical for the future. And so again, what has changed?
And it has created a lot of capacity, which has ultimately, got to serve in very important and key positions in the education sector, and even much, broader in development. I mean, if you take the former Deputy Director of JET, Mr. Mesh Tipov, he's one of the longest serving and quite effective Directors General. So in some, JET has contributed to, knowledge that has driven policy in education, it has built capacity, and I think it's contributing on a daily basis to, creating energy which is required to support the work of the National Department of Education.
What was your favorite undertaking in your time at JET?
Probably not
during my time at JET formally, because apart from the time I sat on the board where we oversaw and ran a number of very important projects, I continued to be involved with JET once I joined government, in particular working in partnership with them on a number of different projects. One of the early ones that we undertook was a project simply called Getting Learning Right. It ended up with a book being published under that name. It involved a lot of researchers across the country going into classrooms, trying to understand what's going on in our schools, etc. And out of those we drew some very useful conclusions. Now JET managed that whole research process. They helped with the editing, the bringing together of the book itself, and that really, I think, made a huge impact on some of our thinking around education.
What was the most memorable project that you worked on?
Well, I think it's the accumulation of all the evaluations that we did and that other people were doing, young researchers based in universities, in what became the President's Education Initiative. This was former President Mandela put up money and asked the Department of Basic Education, who then invited JET, to look at the President's Education Initiative. And we looked at the evaluations or the research into 32 projects. And that then became the book, Getting Learning Right. That really stands out in my mind as a wonderful collaborative project between universities, NGOs, government and JET.
As you know, turning 25 is a major achievement for any NGO or NPO. What qualities about JET as an organization do you believe have given it staying power?
I think JET actually established its reputation early on. It was well positioned, it had a lot of support from both private and public sector. It provided very good thought leadership, it recruited a lot of astute intellectuals, people who thought about things, who were asking the right kind of questions at the time, and that kind of set its reputation. And it's tried to continue that role, obviously evolving over time into more of an implementation agency, a partner with government, working with government. It's tried to continue to provide that role. I think it's tried to sustain that role. It's been difficult because it's had to evolve with time, but that's really where it came from. And I think it's been able to continue to provide an innovative environment to test out ideas, to think about things, to generate the right kinds of answers to the right kinds of questions, and it's tried to continue to do that.
I think it is extraordinary how many JET setters moved into government and into other leadership positions. It says something about the training that we received, and I give a lot of credit there to having the privilege of sitting in on board meetings and of our chairman, Mr. Rosholt, Professor Manganyi, and Nick Taylor.
Research has always been a niche for us. I think there's a big need there, in that we don't really know what drives schooling, how we can improve our school system in general and the education sector overall. And so it's been a gap, and we took that gap because in order to channel our funds effectively, we needed to find out what was going on and what would be effective and what was likely to work. So research has always been a guiding light for us. And I think it's an area in which we have established our reputation to quite some extent, because it guides all of our other work as well. Project design, project management, advice to donors, advice to government. Research is key.
So what do you think JET should focus on in the years to come?
Well, in the years to come now, it's a changing economy, a changing society, society that is faced with difficult challenges and difficult trade-offs. And I believe that in the coming 5 years, 20 years, JET should be focusing more on how do we help the poor of the poorest to become performers in the economy so that they are able to escape poverty. And education is the best tool that you can use to take people out of poverty. So JET still needs to continue in education, but not only basic education. Your TVET system is an important ingredient on helping people to escape poverty. How do we make that TVET system to be effective? How do we make it more attractive, and how do we make it more aligned with the needs of the country is where Jet will be able to put a name for itself. It's a virgin place, the virgin research, and we need to be able to find a body that we trust to be able to speak to power. And that I see Jet being able to do that, to do that because of its past experience and its connection with government.
The big needs that we've come with in the past, from the past decade in the sector are low performance in mathematics and languages. We know that in the advent of technology, the kind of skills that we need to produce in the system have changed, and they've continued to change. And the truth is, the educationists today do not know exactly how to prepare kids for the future. So that's the gap that JET should engage in.
Please describe as best you can JET in one sentence or phrase.
Let me just describe JET, certainly during the period of my professional career, as a credible and dependable friend in education.
I'd have to say that JET is about living the transformation that we're trying to create in this country.
JET 3.0 is how I would describe JET at the moment. We've come a long way. We were a fund manager, we became a not-for-profit, and now we are a not-for-profit that is competitive in the market and able to contribute to the current environment in South Africa. It's an exciting place to work. And watch the space, JET 3.0 still has a lot to contribute.
When I think of JET, I think of the word purpose. Not only is JET fulfilling its purpose in the community, but also me discovering my purpose here at JET.
Contributing to the development of young minds.
Exciting and innovative research.
Promoting educational excellence.
Investing in the youth of the country.
Investing in education.
JET is research-led.
And statistical informative.
JET has made the largest footprint in improving the quality of education.
I see JET as a curator and producer of knowledge in the education sector.
JET is a thought leader and a credible partner.
JET for me means being publicly rewarded for what we practice in private. #JETDNA.
JET is one of the driving forces behind quality education in South Africa.
JET is courageous and JET is innovative.
JET is pushing boundaries.
JET values education in our country.
JET is about making a difference in disadvantaged communities.
To me, JET means opportunities.
So what is JET for you, Chomi?
JET is optimistic.
Optimistic. For me, it's diligent,
involved,
exceptional.